Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an UDES 1516. It's a tier 10 Swedish medium tank. It's located on the north spawn of Cliff and it's under the command of Marky 12. Now, there's some funny business going on in this game. Could be cheating, and that's why we've done the replay. Game on. Well, UDES 1516 is armed with a 120mm gun, capable of doing 420 alpha, if I remember correctly. Is it 440 alpha? 440 alpha with standard APCR, and it also has heat rounds. Now, Marky tends to use mostly standard ammo and only uses the heat rounds when absolutely necessary, or if he runs out of standard ammo. As it's the Cliff game and there's no Arty, he's headed towards the centre of the map to establish dominance and try and shoot down on the enemy tanks as they try to make their way up to the centre. And it looks like he's going to get there first. Now, I'm going to do this replay in two parts. First, we're going to actually see the battle from Marky's perspective, and next we're going to actually see it from the mini-map's perspective, because that's very important. Okay, he's got a couple of targets turned up, a T10, and a VK4502, and the VK managed to get a pen, but the T10 didn't. The T10 just stopped, and he doesn't seem to be moving. Now, Marky's hit him twice so far, twice in the tracks, and hasn't penned him. Tries again. That time he got the shell above the tracks into the side of the vehicle. Okay, the VK4502 hiding behind his T10 partner. He gets another pen, but the T10's not even bothering to fight. He's just sitting there, acting as a target. And now he's actually moved back. He bounced another round from the VK4502 and pumps another one into the upper plate of the T10. Seems like the enemy is now trying to fight. Gets one into the shoulder of the 4502. Oh, and there's a UDES 1516 down there as well. Yeah, he did take a round from the 4502, but it was only an HE round there for 35 hit points. But we've got to watch out for that 1516 and T10. Yes, he pumps one into the lower plate and he gets wiped out. In the end, he was actually taken out by the Shrek. Okay, well, the 4502 is just below our gun depression at the moment, and we still can't see that 1516. He's kind of disappeared from view, but he is down there somewhere. We get a shot into the 4502. Yes, right through the upper plate. 445 high roll. Okay, notice how Marky cleared himself. Just checking behind to see what the situation is. Oh, now that's not what he wanted to see. That's a 50 TP down below. That's a tier 9 Polish heavy tank. And we took a round in the gun. Now that's going to affect accuracy, and he's fixed his gun, because otherwise it would really throw off his game. He needs to maximise his damage. Okay, he's having a quick look round to see what's going on. There's a UDES 16 on the cliff edge, but it looks like our teammates are going out to try and deal with him. Okay, there's the VK, the UDES, pumps one in through the side. He couldn't use his gun depression there. Okay, that 50 TP still down in the valley. But it looks like he's changing position to try and get better shots on us. And we just bounced around from the 1516, who I think managed to find a gap that he could shoot up at us with. In fact, I think you can see that the point of impact was on the turret. So a quick look there. Yes, it was. Okay, 1516 below us. There's bound to be some enemy tanks in the sniper's nest. And, oh, he's trying to squeeze past. And the 50 TP tried a shot, but failed. Now, this is very well done here, because Marky is actually reversing whilst holding his gun on the enemy, just in case the enemy does fire and he has to respond. Okay, he's cleared the top, and now he can turn around and go conventionally. Okay, so he's up on top. The UDES 1516 still below, taking fire. I think he was taking fire from the Shrek, who's over in our sniper's nest. But there's bound to be some enemy snipers in their nest as well. And the 50 TP, we're using the bush mechanic on him at the moment. But remember, the snipers will probably see us the moment we fire. Okay, Sixth Sense just went off, so the snipers are looking in our direction. And, oh, that hurts. One of the snipers is an ISU-152K with a BL-10 gun, and he just whacked us for a high roll for 797, but we've got the 50 TP, and that's his first kill of the game, Marky. Okay, so now we are down to just 340 hit points, which means we are a one-shot for both of the enemy tanks in the sniper's nest. So he's going to have to be cautious from now on, because he can be taken out of the game very easily. The scores are still even. It could still go either way from what you'd think, but remember, I'm saying that this game could be a rigged game, and we'll see that later on. Okay, no enemy in sight. The enemy do have the donuts. There's an UDES 1516 who's fairly close by, but he hasn't attempted to come up here. There's a Progetto 46 on the lower side of the donut, and it looks like a T57 Heavy's down there as well. We can't see them at the moment. A Ball 6 turned up in the north end of the map down in the 1 line, and our chart view Tier 4 is trying to get down there to spot who's down there. Can he see the UDES? No, I don't think so at the moment. Okay, Marky's just inspecting his vehicle. There's the UDES. We can see him now. In fact, we can see both of them. And there's one of them. UDES 16 takes a round. High roll, 442. And he just took another big hit from someone, and he's out the game. I suspect it was the Shrek who hit him, because he took a massive hit. Or it could have been both Shreks, actually, because we've got 2 on our team. Okay, somebody just died. That was the enemy UDES 1516, the one who was troubling us earlier. And we're now going to see if we can have a look at the snipers. There's the ISU-152K. Well, he pumps 1 round in, but it was a blind shot. The Centurion Action 10 is getting close, so he will spot them. Oh, that one dropped and it hit the tracks. And now we can see the Charioteer. Now he could have the 120mm gun. We don't. Oh, not the 120, the 105mm. We did get 1 hit in him. You can see it's on the just above the turret, just above the gun. Oh, and again, we're being trolled at a distance. These shells are relatively slow. You can see they dip quite a lot. RNG's being very unkind. There's the T57 Heavy. He's on the lower end of the donut at the moment. And we've only got the Shrek down that end. And there's the Progetto. Progetto's gone. Just taken out by the chart view Tier 4. So we're 3 up on the enemy at the moment. You would think that it's going to be an easy win. Just pay attention to what happens in the end game. There's only 4 enemies left. 3 tank destroyers, 1 heavy tank. The heavy tank's the T57 Heavy, the tank destroyers are the Charioteer, the ISU-152K, and we know they're in the sniper's nest, and both of them have been damaged, and the other one is a T28. Okay, you can see the other 2. There they are. Oh, and we're trolled again with that shot. Didn't hit the Charioteer. Bit of a snap because he was moving, and we'll have another go. Well, I think that did hit the Charioteer because there was no kicking up of dust on the ground. That did hit the ground, so we didn't hit the Charioteer with that one. I guess we might have hit the gun of the Charioteer, and that's why we didn't see any dust kicked up by the first shot. But I doubt the 152K or the Charioteer can see us now. Not unless we fire. Okay, chart view Tier 4 is going down to the far end. We have to go with him. Support his play. We've lost our advantage. We were 3 tanks up. Now we're only 1 tank up on the enemy. Marky gives it 1 shot. He's going to have to go down and support that chart view Tier 4. He might be able to take out the T28. He's making a beeline. He shouldn't be spotted by the ISU-152K, not this distance. So he's safe to get down here without being seen. The enemy's not close enough. He's just got to find that T28 and protect the Shrek and the Charview Tier 4 who are guarding the entrance to the donut. Okay, so where is that T-28? See the object 777-2? T-28 doesn't seem to be making an attempt to kill him though, and he's still got a load of hit points. Notice that. Masses of hit points on that object 777-2. There's the T-28. He's looking in our direction, hasn't got a care in the world, and he did see us. He did see us, and he's changing position to get out of fire, out of cover. We lost our Shrek to the T-50. Was it the... I think it was the T-28 actually. Okay, T57 Heavy has just unloaded his magazine into the Charview Tier 4, left him on only 2 hit points. So now we're going down there to try and kill this guy as quickly as we can. 1 round into the turret, we get a low roll, 413. He's now a 2-shot for us. And the Charview Tier 4, well, he might be reloading. Oh, we're trolled. T57 got one 120mm round into us and it wiped us out. Charview Tier 4 is probably on reload. He's headed off in this direction. The T57 Heavy's on reload as well. And this object 777-2, well, it's very strange because some hit points have been given away to the T28, but notice the T28 backed up into the Charview Tier and killed him with a ramp kill because he only had 2 hit points left. And now look at this end of game play, where an object 777-2 is almost giving away his hit points to the T57 Heavy. Well, that shot appeared to come from the T28, but wait for it. And there's the kill shot from the T28 actually to kill him off. So that's the end of the game. Okay, we're starting the battle again. And this time round we're going to maximize the minimap so you can actually see what's going on in the battle. And I'd like you to pay strict attention to the tanks that go off to the west side of the map, because those are the ones that we suspect of cheating. Okay, game started, but I'm not going to follow the UDES of Marquee 12. What I'm going to do instead, with my very poor free camera skills, I'm going to actually follow the mouse. 0 Kelvin. As you know, that's absolute 0. No temperature lower than 0 Kelvin. And you can see he's headed off towards the Western Pass. And what's unusual about this mouse is that he does not fire a single shot in the entire game, which is very unusual for a mouse driver, especially when they're showing that their WN8 skill is actually very good. He's blue in colour. That doesn't mean he's blue because he's actually killed one of his own team. No, he's blue because he's actually a very good player. But the results for critical damage and the shots and everything that are coming in are actually coming in from Marquee. But you can see that an enemy UDES 16 has just driven past and he did absolutely no damage to them. He's just hugging the rocks and doing nothing. Meanwhile, we've got a T95, an Object 777 version 2, an SU-130PM, a Strv S1 sitting behind him, and they're not shooting at the enemy, even though the enemy is in sight. Well, there are some shots going. I think the T95 is firing. But you'll notice that the mouse is losing hit points. He's just hugging the wall and not shooting. Now that is very, very unusual indeed. You don't normally see a mouse doing absolutely nothing. Now angling the turret is quite normal for a mouse, but not over-angling like that. Over-angling like that actually allows the enemy shots to penetrate. You can see quite a few shots have penetrated already. Those purple splashes are where the heat rounds from the T57 Heavy have actually penetrated the side of this mouse. And we know it's the T57 Heavy. It's a 120mm round. The T57 Heavy does use heat. He is down at the other end of that corridor at this moment. and pulling out. The mouse has actually pulled back for a short while, but he still hasn't fired a single shot. Now, I think it might be that he's pulled back because the people who are hitting him are not the ones who are supposed to be hitting him and harvesting his hit points. You can see the T57 Heavy has now suddenly appeared in the corridor, and the mouse is coming back so that the T57 Heavy can get the rest of his hit points. Well, the T95 just wiped out the IS-2 too, and the mouse is now back on the corner, and the T57 Heavy has made his way up onto the donut. But look at the minimap. The SU-130PM, he's still sitting with his full health. And look what the mouse is doing. The mouse is going into this corner, and the T57 Heavy is about to harvest him. There he is. And you can see the mouse stops, and he gets shot in the rear by the T57 Heavy. And he's gone. Not one single shot fired at the T57 Heavy. He had plenty of opportunity to do so, but he just offered himself to the T57 to kill. Okay, so look at the minimap again. You'll see that the T57 is now sitting on the corner of the donut, and he's firing at the T95. Now, I'm absolutely terrible with free cameras, so please do apologise. I apologise if I get this wrong, but I'm trying to get you into a position where you can actually see what's actually going on. So I'm pulling up. The T57 is supposedly sitting on this corner at the moment of the donut, but he's going to start harvesting the tanks. The STRv S1, who's done absolutely nothing, sitting at the bottom of the ramp next to the cap area. The SU-130PM, who's gone up onto the ramp, so he's actually sitting on the plateau near his own cap, and the Object 777 too. The T95 has been wiped out now, so he's gone. All of what you're hearing at the moment is from the fight that Mark 12 is fighting in the UDES 1516 up on top of the cliff next to the lighthouse. We will see the T57 Heavy suddenly appear because he actually goes down to the corner to shoot at the STRv S1 and the SU-130PM. Because, of course, he's harvesting them. These are hit points that he is collecting. He's already collected the mouse, and the mouse offered himself to him so that he could actually get the kill, because it seems that some of the other members of the T57's team were trying to collect the mouse instead of him. So he actually moved to get to a position where the mouse could actually be given to the T57. But notice the STRv S1, the SU-130PM, still full health. The Shrek TVPs, they're both fighting the game properly, as far as we can tell. But the Object 777 version 2, the SU-130PM and the STRv S1, as far as we can tell, they're the offerings along with the mouse.
Enemy armor is hit.
We can't see the T57 Heavy yet, but he will appear very shortly. You can see the game is actually going in Marky's team's favour at this moment. They're 2 up on the enemy, and they were up for a considerable period of time. But look at the players who are actually doing nothing. We've seen the SU-130PM taken out. He's gone. The STRv S1 is about to be taken out. And in fact, actually, I believe that is the T57 Heavy is now moving down. Well, he is on this corner.
Enemy armor is damaged.
I'm trying to stay with this corner in sight. Okay, the T57's gone back up onto the donut, and he's shooting at the Shrek and harvesting them now. Now, the Shreks did appear to get some damage, so they appear to be playing the game. But the T57 Heavy, once he's finished with that Shrek, he goes down to collect the hit points from the other one. And we're about to see him do that. And then, of course, he will collect the hit points from the Strv S1 as well. You can see that Shrek is actually firing at the T28. And the T28 does turn around and fire back at him. There's the T57 Heavy. Shoots at that Shrek. He's just unloaded those 3 shells and taken out the Strv S1. And he didn't have to worry. The Strv S1 didn't fire back. There was no concern at all from him. In fact, I'll run that back for you so you can actually see it again. Okay, look at this. He's sitting on that corner. He's just wiping out the Strv S1. He's just sitting there. And now he's going off to reload. Now, the T57 Heavy comes up to this area of the donut to try and prevent the other Shrek from doing any damage. Oh, no, there he is. Sorry, he's actually appeared again there. And he's trying to kill the Shrek down below. Okay, now he's in reload. The Char Future 4 comes down. And we can see them the two engaging. I think the T57 is definitely in reload though. No, I think the first one to be killed out of that bunch is the Shrek, the last remaining Shrek, and then the Char Future 4 is badly damaged. And we can see Marky 12 has come down to help them. So we're focusing on this corner now. You see the T28 not making any attempt to destroy the Object 777 version 2. The Shrek is gone, taken out by the T28 actually. And now the T57 is fully loaded. He comes up to hit the Char Future, puts 2 in. There's the third one, which leaves him on only 2 hit points. And there we see the T57 Heavy mucks up his fourth shot, but Marky gets his shot into the turret, but he fluffs this shot and gets wiped out. He just aimed at the part where it was actually weakest on the hardest on the oscillating turret. And now you can see the T57's definitely in reload. He's chasing the Char Future 4. And because of course he wants that kill, but in fact actually T28 gets it and denies the T57 Heavy a Radley Waters. There you go, there's the kill by the T28. And look at this kill now by the T28 actually does the kill on the Object 777 but it's rather late in the game for the Object 777 to be trying to fight it out, but he's not really trying to fight it out at all. He's not really giving up any opposition to the enemy tanks. He's just sitting there and letting them harvest him. And there you go. Here's the end of battle results. And you can see for Marky, he got a second-class tanker out of that game. a sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy. He also managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. He also managed to get a Confederate in that game. Yes, he hit more of the enemy than anyone else in his team, and you can see that by the results. Now, if we look at the other results for the other players, okay, this is where it gets interesting. You see, Markey was the highest scorer on his team with 7,672 hit points of damage. The next highest player, well, the highest player of damage was the T57 Heavy. 10,209 hit points and 7 kills. That's a huge amount of damage for a tier 10 heavy tank in a game like this. And remember that the T57 Heavy took out most of the enemy tanks, which actually didn't even fire at him. They didn't even bother. The mouse, he harvested the hit points from the mouse. That's 3,500 hit points of damage there. And then he harvested most of the other tanks as well. So this T57 Heavy has a very unusually high hit point haul from that game. Very high, compared to his teammates as well. And you'll notice that on this team, there's a large number of players down from the Centurion Action 10 who got absolutely no damage. We're looking at the Strv, only got 722. The Object Treble 72 got 460. I think those were the rounds he actually shot at the T28. 446 went to the Skoda T56. The Star 1, 436. The IS-3 only got 434. But look at this. The SU-130PM, 0 hit points. The mouse, 0 hit points. No damage whatsoever. Now, the IS-3 you might forgive for saying, well, he did get a kill in the game, so maybe he was actually trying to fight the game properly. We think that Centurion Action 10 is also fighting the game. After all, he got 2 kills. And most of these guys here actually did do a fair amount of damage, so they were fighting the game properly. We know that. But it's very unusual that these tanks down here actually just gave themselves away to that T57 Heavy. Let's have a look at the details a bit further. We can see Markey actually was playing the game properly. He fired 29 rounds, got 25 direct hits and 17 penetrations. Damage of 7,672 hit points, of which 3,558 were up more than 300 meters. He also received 12 hits from the enemy, 4 penetrations, 7 non-penetrations, and 1 hit by way of splash, 2,470 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles engaged and 1 killed, so there was an 8 difference to his Confederate, 921 hit points of damage assistance as well. Now, he came out of the battle with a positive amount of 25,691 credits, and you can see he also came out with a positive on XP, 8,050. But the thing is, if you look at the results for some of the other players, you wonder, were they playing the game properly? Because here's the mouse, and you can see from the details, he fired no shots. No shots whatsoever, no direct hits, no splash, no damage. He received 21 hits from the enemy, 9 of them penetrated, 11 non-penetrations, and 1 hit by way of splash damage, and he blocked damage of 5,450 hit points, and spent most of the battle with his gun pointed at a wall, instead of, or against the rock face, without actually shooting at the enemy whatsoever. Very unusual. Let's have a look at the next tank, the T57 Heavy Tank. Well, he picked up 3 awards. In fact, he missed out on getting a Radley Waters because there wasn't enough tanks left. But look at his scores. They're very much like Markey's, but a lot better. 36 shots fired, 34 direct hits, 29 penetrations, 10,209 hit points, of which 3,728 were up more than 300 meters. So he did a fair amount of damage at distance, but most of his damage was done at close range on targets which weren't even firing back at him. He received 7 hits, only 5 of those penetrated, 2 non-penetrations. We saw one of the penetrating shots did come from Markey, went in the side of the turret, and did actually yield at least 400 hit points of damage, 440 I think it was. But 830 hit points of damage blocked by armor. One of those is Markey's shot, because remember, he hit the side of the tank and it didn't pen. It actually went in through, bounced off through one of the strong points, actually, just above the oscillating turret. So he didn't get it in the weak spot. Now, he actually damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 7, and he earned 1,418 XP from base XP from that game. So you have to look at those results and say these are abnormally high. The T57 Heavy, the T28 not so much, because obviously there were 3 tanks on their team who actually scored better, including the ISU-152K, who was spending most of his game actually acting as a sniper. But the T28, well, all he was doing was holding those tanks in position. He wasn't actually trying to assault them. He wasn't trying to kill them. He was just holding them there for the T57 Heavy to then harvest. And basically the Strv and the Object 777 version 2 and who else? Trying to remember the other tanks on their team who actually, let's go back, the ones that were actually harvested. The T95 was harvested. So yes, that's one tank. Although he did get a fair amount of damage actually on the enemy, he was harvested by the T57 Heavy. But the other tanks were the Skodas, the SU-130PM, no damage whatsoever on that one. And that's very suspicious indeed, because those guys really weren't taking part in the game. They were just sitting there doing absolutely nothing, waiting for the T57 Heavy to kill them. So yes, you have to look at these results and say this is very suspicious, because I can't see how a very good player in a mouse would just sit there doing absolutely nothing, letting somebody harvest him, unless it was a rigged game. And that's my suspicion. I have no proof of this, but it looks very suspicious, because mouses don't go into battle and score no damage and shoot no shots, especially when the enemy's in sight and they can actually shoot back. It's very, very unusual indeed. It's not the sort of behavior you'd expect from a heavy tank, especially from a good player. So I have my suspicions. I'm going to report these to Wargaming. I'm going to put this video up on the board so you can see them. And then maybe you would agree with me that these results are just very, very suspicious indeed. And maybe that what we're seeing here is somebody who's benefiting from tanks who are actually acting as willing victims for this particular tank, the T57 Heavy, to actually get a very high score so that he can then get his marks of excellence or for some other reason. But it's certainly very suspicious when you see a mouse do absolutely no damage whatsoever, especially when they're a good player. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. It was a good game by Marky. He did his best, but under the circumstances, it does appear that this game was rigged against him. And only half of his teammates were actually playing the game properly, and the rest were just, well, they were just there to provide the enemy with something to kill. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give the video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.